We are back for another exciting episode of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and today is going to be, there should be no missed cues, there should be no conversations left unfinished, because our guest today has been on, now not the Wednesday Match Play, she was on when it was the Friday Foursome, but we'll get to that in a second. This episode and all episodes of the Wednesday Match Play are presented by Eat Sleep Golf. We have a ton of questions tonight, and I was actually looking at my questions a little bit ago, and I think I'm as equal questions about what we're talking about this evening, Coates Golf and the Coates Golf Championship, but there's some tee-to-table stuff in there for her Friday Foursome days, because she still blogs a ton, she's still a foodie, she still travels all over the place. Right before we went live, she was saying that she just went to Innisbrook just to get away. Well, she does that and then she blogs about it. It makes me feel jealous because I'm not getting away. But tonight we have Deanna Alfredo, who I've known for a long time online, but I've been grateful enough and lucky enough to get to know her both professionally and personally, and we are going to talk about it a little bit, but she came and played in hashtag the Oven 15 last year. She's going to be back in Scottsdale for hashtag the Oven 16 this year. So, Deanna, there is going to be a question about your excitement level for that. But tonight we're going to be talking Coates Golf and Coates Golf Championship, because Deanna announced this a few months ago that she was getting involved with Coates Golf, and I knew the brand, I knew what they did, and I knew about the golf tournament. But I don't know much past that, so I'm going to have a whole bunch of questions tonight for Deanna talking about Coates Golf and the golf tournament. But I could sit here and try to talk about it. I'm going to let her do that, and welcome Deanna Alfredo to the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. Deanna, how the heck are you?
Oh, I'm great. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Ricky, for having me back again. I'm always looking forward to your questions. I have some great anticipation with that kind of lead-in. Hopefully I can ask them all, but I just really enjoy sharing my passions for Coates Golf and golf lifestyle and everything around the game of golf. So I'm really happy to be here, and let's see what you have for me.
Now you said it when I said we were going live. It was 7, and you said no, it's 10 because you're not on the West Coast. I sometimes forget the sun's still up a little bit out there, so I sometimes forget that. So we'll try to get through this quickly so you can get to bed. But let's just start with what is Coates Golf. Like, I know what it is, but I don't know past just the surface, because I'm not a target demographic for Coates Golf. So give us an elevator pitch of what Coates Golf is and what it's all about.
Great. Well, I am the target demographic for Coates Golf, and I think that's why it's really great to be, officially my role is brand ambassador, but I like to just say I just, have this passion and love for Coates Golf. And I was first introduced to the brand just online, and I was, poking around. I thought, that is a sleek, luxury-looking brand, and I kind of like that kind of stuff. And then I got to experience their equipment. And the idea behind that is Molly Coates was an avid golfer, started golfing later in life. And, as a female, it is kind of frustrating the equipment selections that are out there, because either the female clubs are kind of designed for a beginning golfer or someone who's not as competitive. And as females, we find ourselves being, if you're competitive, going to the male market and playing the TaylorMades and the Pings and the Callaways. And sometimes it's just, the R&D is so important, how they're constructed. We talk about the technology, right? And the first time I swung a Coates Golf Club, I've never really understood the term feel in a golf club before. And it dawned on me immediately what feel was, because the club reacted so well that they say they put the technology in to complement a female swing, and how do our bodies move differently than men's. And so now I'm lucky enough to say I have to readjust my whole game based upon longer yardage, but not just longer yardage, it's more consistent, and it really plays into the female competitive golfer's bag.
That's awesome. Well, it's cool that you're involved with them, and when I saw your initial announcement talking about it, I knew that it was going to be a good fit for you, and you say the word passion a lot, and I'm glad that you do, because I've got that in a lot of things too, and it's obvious talking to you that you've got passion for both the game of golf and now for Coates. And Eat Sleep Golf, who is the presenting sponsor of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, right off the bat says, where did the name Coates Golf come from? But I think I know the answer to this, because you just said the name of a person that might have something to do with that. So where did the name come from?
Molly Coates is the president of Coates Golf, and Randy Coates, her husband, is involved as well. So Coates obviously derived from that. But one of the fun things that I'm going to show you is their logo. Can you see that?
I love the logo. I have no idea what it is.
It's an antelope. And the antelope is one of the few animals out there that both the male and females both grow horns. So it's the same game, the same respect in their philosophy. And their logo is so clean and it's on everything that's the first thing I was drawn to was this, the black and the gold put together. I was like, that's pretty slick, but I like the philosophy behind it because that's their approach. It's the same game and same respect and horns up on everything.
That is awesome. Hashtag horns up. I love that. That is so great.
Yeah.
So how big is the company? Like, I mean, is it a huge company? Like, I don't really know.
It's growing, and it's hard to keep, on pulse on those numbers. But you touched a little bit on the Coach Championship and how great is a new company to come out in 2014 and 2015. They're hosting 2014 to 15. They're hosting an LPGA tournament event. Not only is it an LPGA tournament event, it's one of the first of the season in the U.S. And the hubbub around is it feels like a major. And like to get that the first season, 100,000 people attending to the event the first time. And then I went this year, the second time they had it. And Ricky, I've been to LPGA events, I've been to PGA events, I've been to the PGA Championship. And to get to an event that's so well attended and so thought out, they had a food truck area behind the 18th hole. They had a craft beer festival within the tournament. So they're dialed in the lifestyle and how to grow the game of golf and make it interesting from a tournament perspective as well. And it was a great event, and especially playing the Pro-Am and all that. I got to do all of it.
So you said food trucks, and I immediately I wanted to be connected to the team, but then you said food trucks, and I even more so. But then you said craft beer, and I'm pretty sure we need to hit stop, and we need to pick up the phone and call whoever is responsible for that. I had no idea that the company started in 2014. I had assumed that it had been around for 5, 7, 10, 15 years to have an LPGA event like that. So. Wow, and you played in the Pro-Am? How cool is that?
It was great. I played with Amy Anderson for 9 holes and Tiffany Ho for 9 holes, and she's a character. Like, she had me laughing the whole time. But what was super impressive is I played with 2 local 12-year-olds, a male player and a female player. And, I'm not 30, I'm not 40 anymore either, and I'm a newer golfer, but I can hold my own. But going into a tournament and they announce your name on the tee, the pro play, teed off, and then the male in our group teed off, and then the 12-year-old tees off, and I was just like, are you kidding me? I have to go after her. But it was really great. I played in other programs, like I said, and this is the first one we had a gallery following us. And just the number of people that were even at the Pro-Am day as spectators was so impressive to me, and I did sink a 35-foot putt on number 18, so that was fun.
No big deal. Just whatever. Yeah, just drop a putt.
I got a clap. But after all these frustrating shots behind the 12-year-old all day, that was like my only thing.
That's awesome. What a cool experience. Well, let's take a step back from Coates for a second. And you're a foodie, and you're into cocktails, and you blog about all that stuff on Tea to Table. But you have a cocktail recipe that I was reading the other day that features tap whiskey, and it just sounds ridiculously good because that whiskey by itself is fan-freaking-tastic.
Amazing,
it's got a maple
right?
flavor to it. It's so good. Well, two-part question. Do you write your own cocktail recipes, and who takes all that photography? Your photography is fantastic.
That's me. Some of the recipes I do write. Some, I don't know if you saw my apples and oranges with tap whiskey. That was just out on, I think it was on my Facebook site. That was one of their recipes. They kind of wanted me to play around with and see what I thought about it. But I've kind of learned how to take pictures, and it's been challenging and fun and frustrating and all these things. But, even on my Instagram and Twitter, all the live pictures of the food and the drinks, those are me and my actual experiences and what I'm doing. My background, I was a chef, and I went to culinary school and quickly discovered after working during the Olympics in Atlanta that this is not the lifestyle for me. And then I went on to do several things, and I got involved in golf about 4.5 years ago because of owning a business and going to conferences and discovering there were golf tournaments the first day of the conference. And I wasn't going to be left behind, so I I always been athletic, and I took some lessons and went out, and then I got the bug. And my husband said to me, you keep talking about this website. Why don't you start it as a stress reliever? And so I started it,
Right.
and right? You can tell who I am through this, can't you? A-type.
Yeah.
And I started sharing some of my recipes and some of our travels where I would drag him golfing or wherever. And then, I came up with the name Tea to Table because my idea was everything from the tee box to the table, because food and drink are around everything we do. And I naturally would play around a golf, and we'd end up sitting around a table somewhere afterwards talking. And, it's just the evolutionary process, that 19th hole. And I was fortunate enough, within a couple months, Bon Appetit found the site, and then boom, here we are. And, today I'm also working with 19th Hole Magazine as their food and golf lifestylist editor, and taking some amazing trips, and just kind of, it's a tough life,
But somebody's got to do it, right? I mean, and you're one that does it well. And if you ever need somebody to come along with you, besides your husband and your family, I guess I could help if you ever need me. I'm available. So, Eat to Sleep wants to eat to sleep. I say eat to sleep, tea to table. Look at me. Eat to Sleep Golf. They're combining brands. And maybe there's some synergy there. They wanted to know where the Coates Golf Clubs can be purchased. And I don't know if I'm not looking for female clubs. So where can somebody buy them?
Great question. Beyond online, in the southern regions, you can go to Golf Galaxy and Dick's Sporting Goods. And I know that they are starting distribution and kind of branching out through the country. Or you can just contact me, and I'll figure out how to get them to you.
That's awesome.
But it's a great process. They even have, Ricky, a 2-week try it as you buy it type philosophy, and that's advertised on their site as well, knowing that, in some cases you probably can't get out to a local shopping, golf box store or specialty store to try them out. And I think that's also a great incentive that, hey, there's this, try it out before you buy it kind of philosophy as well.
Well, I was about ready to say that was a good segue, but then you literally answered the next question talking about the risk-free trial. So there you go, Eat Sleep Golf. They just she's pretty much reading my screen right now. So
I don't even know what's on there.
Okay, so you travel a lot, so you're obviously staying in hotels and resorts, and I know that you've stayed in some pretty nice places over the years. This is again, I'm all about these 2-part questions. Best hotel and worst hotel you've ever stayed in.
Okay. Best hotel I just experienced in November. I went to Cabo San Lucas in Mexico to the Esperanza Auberge Resort. And it's funny because the resort has been redone, but it was in Heartbreak Kid, the movie with Ben Stiller. So some of my friends had this reference. Well, it was a girlfriend's wedding, and my husband went with me. We were there for 5 days, and just everything, every time you thought you'd hit a pinnacle, it'd be like, oh, wow, really, truly fresh freeze margaritas. And we walked away after 5 days, and I looked at him, and he looked at me. And sometimes I'm a little picky, when I travel or whatever, just a little bit. And I go, what's the con here? And he goes, well, there was that one pepper shaker that wasn't full. It was just that experience where you call and there's fresh cream for your coffee delivered to your door in like 5 minutes, and the decor and just the ambiance. That was my favorite.
Okay. Good answer.
The worst experience. I think sometimes it can be risky in the Caribbean and other locations where if you don't really have a strong reference as to where you're staying, and you do get kind of spoiled with some of the places I've been and the trips I've been on. So then when you do go into a place that, if you're part of a trip, I was invited on a golf trip a couple winters ago, and we went to the Bahamas, and I was like, oh, I think I need a different room, maybe an upgrade, and so they moved rooms, but, it's just, for me, it's if a resort becomes weathered, they're not putting a lot of maintenance into it or updating rooms, or that's just when it becomes a little glaring that some changes need to be made.
Okay, good. And I think I remember that trip because I'm pretty sure you took a selfie with Greg Norman on that trip, if I am not mistaken.
Oh, that was a different Bahamas trip, but the Greg Norman
Sorry,
trip was great.
You got
I just holes yeah.
So, okay.
It was tough.
Yeah, again, somebody has to do it, so it might as well be you. So you played in hashtag the Oven
Yeah.
15. You're coming back to Scottsdale for hashtag the Oven 16. I have to assume you're excited, but what are some of your favorite things about your prior experience that you're most looking forward to for hashtag the Oven 16 this year?
Okay. Well, first of all, I know there's a lot of you out there who haven't registered, so we need you there at the event this year. It's going to be fun. One of my favorite things, I think, were the milkshakes. And you had mentioned them to me, and you didn't oversell them. I don't know if it was because it was so hot. I'm from Michigan again. And, Scottsdale in, what month was that, July?
I don't even remember
It was
now.
July.
Late June or early July, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hot in Scottsdale in July. I'm playing golf, and we came off. I was like, where is that, bleepity bleep milkshake? Because I need that right about now.
Now wait a minute. It is called the
That was
Oven for a purpose.
I get that now. You didn't really clarify that.
Well, it's early June this year, so it won't be as hot.
Okay.
It'll be right around 100 this year.
Mhm, mhm. Another fun thing was the blind draw for who you're playing with. When you go to an event like that, I was fortunate my sister came with me. She goes on all my girls' golf trips with me, typically because, golf trips are not just for guys these days. Watch out, Match Janella. I mean, for real. So I belong because I knew I would know you and then no one else. But the way you paired us, and then we rotated the pairings, and before you knew it, we're all buddies, and we're all still buddies. And I think that the takeaway is you can meet a lot of great people as well who are really into golf, or maybe they just like to play golf, or just different walks of life. We had Doc, who's an instructor. We had, so many different types of people that we had the common theme was golf. It's great.
Well, and it was funny because we do the blind pairings, and we had over 30 golfers in the field, and John Henry, who works for the Golf Channel, was there. He's coming again this year, and I was so excited for the blind draw. Everybody's playing with somebody different on Saturday. They're playing with somebody different on Sunday. Guess what John did? He played with the exact same people both days. So
did he really?
Yeah, he did. So blind draw is not always a guarantee you're going to meet new people. So I will make sure this year that John plays with somebody that he's never played with, though, because I know he's looking forward to the event. So
yeah, I think you're going to be sad if you're not paired with me. You won't see the clubs in action.
No kidding. Well, so let's go back to the golf championship real quick. So you were there. Obviously, you have a lot of memories from that, and I hope that the craft beer piece is one of your favorite memories. But what is your favorite memory from your first Coast Golf Championship?
For me, this is not going to be like cliche or whatever. I think for me, it was the complete experience. Because it wasn't just the one item that made it great. It was the thought and the attention to detail from the pairings party the first night, and the food selections and the setup of that, and then walking into the pro-am and practice days with the food trucks, and then the craft beers, and so many things that were appealing to a mass group of people that for me, I couldn't say for this event it was one particular thing, but more so how it was all put together. And on top of it, the community support was amazing, and the business people from the community that were there, and then just the regular community members. That's impressive to me, and I think that's what golf needs and golf tournaments need, is that community support, as well as the rounded approach. And what's that experience? Golf, we can be passionate. You and I are golf junkies, and we go after golf for golf itself, right? Yeah. But I think to grow the game of golf and keep it sustainable, you need the add-ons. And I think that the craft beer ticket was $10 more, and the basic ticket to get in was $25. So it was reasonable for an everyday person to afford to get there and just have a great experience.
Well, and to your point about, I've been to a lot of PGA and a couple of LPGA, and I was just at a PGA Tour Champions event, and I actually got the opportunity to be an honorary observer So I was walking with a group inside, and speaking of being introduced on the tee, they introduced me, and I'm like, why are you introducing me? I'm not going to hit a shot. And people are clapping, and I'm like, you have no idea who I am. And I was nervous. I can't imagine getting up there and hitting a golf shot. So, but yeah, to your point about the entire experience, that's really cool. And the craft beer piece, I mean, as big as craft beer is, you're starting to see that to almost whiskeys are becoming like craft whiskeys and homemade whiskeys and stuff are starting to become popular as well. So that's cool that they're I don't want to say taking advantage, but they're seeing something that's already popular and figuring out a way to blend that into. I mean, $35 for a golf tournament and a beer festival? Are you kidding me? I paid $100 to go to a beer festival and no golf tournament. So like that's a win-win right there for a golf junkie.
Right. Definitely.
So, Eat Sleep Golf wants to know who designs the clubs and where are they manufactured?
Who designs the clubs? And, that's probably a question I might answer. I might have to get back to you. I know that they have a team in their warehouse and a manufacturer they work with because they've designed it from the ground up. Again, being a brand ambassador and a new brand ambassador, I probably should know the answer to that. But specifically, I know that they have a whole team they've had working on it and I think they spent about 3 years before they released the club because they really wanted to get it right. And it's like any other club experience down to building the clubs for the right person. I know for me, as far as weights and angle and which style of iron I wanted, the club face, like all of that was a pretty custom fitting process, which on top of a good product, then you have all these options for what style of golfer you are. So there's a lot of diversity and legs to the brand on top of it.
Well, very cool. Yes, as a brand ambassador, you should know that. So that's your homework for tonight is to go figure out who does it. So let's go back to food real quick because I haven't had dinner yet, even though it's like almost, I mean, the sun's coming up where you are here pretty soon. But so you travel a lot.
I've already got my workout and everything.
You eat at a lot of restaurants. You're eating a lot of unbelievable food. Again, you're taking pictures of it and making me jealous of what you are eating. So what are a couple of your favorite restaurants worldwide, and what is your most recent favorite meal that you've had?
Okay. This is kind of depressing on the same note that you asked me this, but my all-time favorite restaurant was at the top of the hotel at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas called Mix. It was a Rubicon restaurant, and so we're going at the end of the month, and I Google, and I'm like, wait, it's not an open table? That's how I always make my reservations. I go there every year. I know the sommelier, I know the manager, imagine that. And so the hotel's been bought out by the Delano, and now it's a new restaurant. So what used to be my favorite restaurant is now gone. But I'm super excited because I had the opportunity in the very near future, I just have to get the calendar together, to go to the French Laundry in Napa, California. And that's, huge bucket list item for me. So hopefully that'll be my new favorite. But just the anticipation of it is quite exciting. And then my most recent favorite meal, you said, in general?
Yeah,
because I'm really a girl at heart. Italian food or steak. It's like I'm a Midwestern girl. Geez, I'm trying to think. Like, unfortunately, when we were in Innisbrook, we really didn't. Oh wait, in that whole like Clearwater area by Innisbrook, do you know how many craft breweries there are? Like, I have some crazy pictures I can show you, but we did go to this one craft brewery that had this beef brisket sandwich. I'll put it on Instagram tomorrow with some of the most tender yet thick, juicy pieces of beef brisket, which sometimes you get it's more shaved and dry, and it was amazing. So that's probably my current favorite right now.
You did hear me say I haven't had dinner yet, right? Thanks for making me now even more hungry. And please tell me when you do go to the French Laundry. I've not eaten there. I've been there, but I have a friend that actually is a chef there. And he used to live here in Scottsdale. And it was funny because I knew him through his girlfriend, and she was a manager in training to become the sommelier at a Total Wine here in Scottsdale. And she put in her notice, and I was like, what are you doing? She was like, yeah, I'm moving to Napa. And I'm like, what? Why? And she was like, oh, I'm quitting. And like, I was so worried of like what was going on. She's like under the table. She told me, she's like, he's not announced it yet, but he got a position as a chef, and he's a sommelier as well. So he's a sommelier and a chef at the French Laundry. So that's a cool little
So cool.
yeah. So I
I
think
like to know.
you're gonna enjoy it. From what I can tell, it's a little just ridiculously priced because it is what it is.
Oh,
But you know, it's a
totally.
bucket list, as you said, a bucket list restaurant that you gotta when you get the opportunity to go to, you do that. So
yeah, definitely.
So you have a bunch of partners on your website. How does one become a partner, and how do you choose who is a partner of Tea to Table?
Well, Ricky, those are both great questions. And the partners that I have, Joe Fit is one of my partners, and I wear they're another golf lifestyle brand. I think you'll hear a recurring theme with me is this lifestyle element to golf. I think it really encompasses everything about me and having those types of partners, because Coates Golf is a lifestyle brand, and how they the branding they use besides the brand appeals to this certain marketplace with where my followers are at and where I'm at. Joe Fit is a female golf clothing line, but they also have tennis and fitness, because I'm a huge fitness person. I don't know if you see that on my stuff. As well as they have lifestyle clothes. They're really comfortable to travel in. And I met them 2 years ago at the PGA show, and we had met with several of the clothing manufacturers. But something about that brand really spoke to me, and it's been almost 2 years now, and that's another brand I'm passionate about, the way they fit, the way they're function and fashion. You know how us females are. We want a little bit of fashion in there, but it also has to be, how are they styled? What genre does it appeal to? Like, I might not be like the standard Puma Cobra Golf female demographic. That's a little young for me, but Joe Fit is that good brand for, crossover genres, as well as, the look, feel, and what they have to offer. Another brand that I'm working with is Dixon Golf, and we're starting some new incentive programs with them. And what really appeals to me is they have tested their balls, and they do play comparable to a lot of the big names we know out there, but it's 100% eco-friendly ball. I lose a lot of balls, and I'm sure everyone else does. So it's the thought of it just being somewhere, or trash in a pond or something like that. So it's good to have that green feel and the eco-friendly part of it. So I'm excited about that partnership. And then I have 19th Hole Magazine as another partner, and how I represent them. And I've gone to like the New York Times trade show, and I have a couple trips coming up with them in Puerto Vallarta and Lake Geneva. And I've had some really great experiences there. And we might have a few events coming around the Olympics, so stay tuned. So there's some exciting things, and those are my primary partners right now.
That's awesome. Well, one of these days we're going to figure out how to get either myself or my brand or the oven, or we'll figure out something, because you got so much going on, and more than anything, let's just go have a meal together, because you eat, like when last time you were here, and actually the last time we dined in Scottsdale, that restaurant is still one of my favorites, but a lot of changes have happened in Old Town. There are some new restaurants that True Food Kitchen will be your next, if you haven't been there yet when you're in town. I don't know when you get in for the oven, but maybe have a late lunch, early dinner at True Food Kitchen at Scottsdale Quarter. It's my new top 5. So, well, I didn't tell you before we started this was going to go really quick, and we only have a couple of minutes left. But before we go, we have what's called the lightning round, and it's just 9 fun. And I wouldn't say they're off-topic questions, because we've kind of gotten a little off-topic talking about food and drinks and the French Laundry and travel and all that. But it's not off-topic, because that's who you are. You're a brand ambassador for Coates, but you played in the Coates Golf Championship Pro-Am. Let's just keep going back to that. You got sunk a 35-footer. I get it. Yeah. But lightning round is nine fun random questions. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready, I think.
What is your all-time favorite golf course?
All-time favorite golf course is Valley Hat Golf Club in Roanoke, Virginia.
I've never heard of that, and now I want to go. So it just happened last weekend, but in your opinion, did Danny Willett win the Masters, or did Jordan Spieth lose the Masters?
I think that Danny Willett played strongly, but I think it was Jordan's to lose.
I've been trying to figure out how to best answer this question because, I mean, Jordan went bogey, bogey, ridiculous, and then he made a couple of birdies. But I think, Danny didn't play great throughout the tournament and then plays really good on Sunday, and Jordan. So the answer to that question, if it was asked to me, is yes. Danny won, Jordan lost, yes.
Hmm?
Have you ever had an ace?
Oh, I've had two close calls. Okay. The first one was a caddyshacker hanging on the lip where I'm literally jumping up and down. And the crazy thing is it was at a charity event for $10,000. It was literally half the ball was hanging over and half was on the green still.
Oh,
And
man. So at least you
then
got like $5,000
I
then for that. Like half good.
thank you. That's what my accountant said too. And then the second one was 6 months later in Nashville at a little muni course. And my ball hit the flag, went down the flag stick, went in the hole, and popped out because of the velocity which it hit the plastic. It just popped out. So no, I haven't.
So combined to half over the hole and in the hole and out, you have a hole in one. You have a Barry Bonds hole in one, as I like to say. So you have one hole in one now. Combine the two stories, but that's what's even more important is you have stories. So I love it. Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
Oh. Well, I still have to say Mallory Blackwelder. I used to sponsor Mallory on the LPGA Tour, and it's just such a good story and the family story and who she is as a person. So she'll always remain my favorite.
Awesome. I saw her on Twitter today. I think I might have favorited something that she tweeted. If you could only have one cocktail for the rest of your life, you only get one. You don't get a change in the seasons. You don't get a change afternoon or dinner. One cocktail. What is it?
A dirty martini, extra dirty. Up.
But what spirit now? That's not a new question. That's just a side question.
Tito's.
Ooh, really? Interesting.
That's
I don't know.
I used to be like Belvedere or Grey Goose, but I'm a Tito's girl.
You're from the Midwest, even though that's
follow
from
my
Texas,
pictures.
but you're from the Midwest. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
How many times per week do you blog? Do you post to the blog?
It varies. I would say maybe twice a week, but that's going to be changing as I get into more events and things like that. It's hard often when you're in Michigan. You'll find what I blog about sometimes trends a little bit differently in the winter. If I am traveling here and there, I have some golf to talk about, usually more food to talk about in the winter and drinks. And I like to help with like making it easier at home, some of the things that you can do. And then summertime, obviously in Michigan, we have more golf and more of a season. So I think what I blog about changes a little bit, but I do post very frequently on Instagram and Facebook pictures and experiences. That's not necessarily always a story worthy for the site, but you'll always see me very active with that.
Do me a favor, join Snapchat, add me, and start snapping me pictures because you make me so jealous with what you're already posting that I sometimes don't even like it because I'm mad. I'm like, I want that. I'm just going to move on. So Snapchat.
I don't Snapchat. Isn't that crazy? I don't Snapchat.
Well, all right. You have a lot of homework tonight. Who manufactures the clubs? Join in Snapchat. You got a lot of things to do. It's late, but you're dedicated. So, what golf ball are you currently playing?
The Dixon Spirit Ball.
I was gonna say you better say Dixon.
I have to, right?
I know that in Les Bailey, who you know from prior days of the Friday Foursome, he wants me to stop asking this question, and I'm not gonna. And he's looking over my shoulder right now, but I know that I set myself up for hurt when I ask this. But be nice. Do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record?
No.
Oh, well, you can. All right, I get it. You couldn't have said that faster.
I respectfully say that. I know your boy crush obsession, whatever we want to call it this week. But I think it's hard when you've had 3 back surgeries. That's something that's pretty significant, and being the top level professional golfer, I think to have that sustainability. Everybody has a track where they run well. or a time span when they do really well. Like look at Rory and look at some of these other people that I think that we all have a window of time to grasp it and say, this is our time, and maybe he'll be at some playing level again. But I think the back injury is hard to come back from.
That is a better
Sorry.
answer than no. Like you can't just stop. That's why I've added I've got to ask the why too. Like you can't just say no and move on. So all right. Now, okay, side question, real quick. We're way over time, but if he comes back and he's as healthy as he was before the surgeries, do you think he can make another run and potentially do it if he's healthy and stays healthy?
I think if is a huge, huge word, right, in this case. And let's say if he ever got to that level of being healthy, then, well, yeah, because he's at that same level he was before. But the chances of that are probably not as great as you'd like them to be.
I know. Well, in my mind, they're good.
I know.
And your final question of your Wednesday match play is, what's next? I mean, my God, I can't imagine what restaurant's next or what hotel's next or what golf course is next, but what's next?
There are a lot of things in the works, and I'm very excited, and some things that I might be doing personally. And travel, of course, is coming up. Like I said, I'll be at Puerto Vallarta for sure in May, and Lake Geneva, and a lot of things in Michigan. I'm hoping to be at the Volvic, the Lpga event here in Michigan. Last year I was at Kingsmill. I don't know if I'll be there this year. But beyond that, there are some exciting things that I'm working on personally, maybe some ebooks, maybe a coffee table style book. So there's always something going on. I'm
That's
never
awesome.
bored, I guess.
I like to say the same thing. Like, if I don't have something going on, I go nuts. I always got to have something moving. So, Deanna, thank you so much for coming on the Wednesday Match Play. You are now a seasoned vet, like Brandon Stooksbury, who was the very first Friday Foursome guest. Ooh, weird. He was on last week, and now you on this week. That's been fantastic to catch up. It's been great to see you. And I look forward to following you, and I better see you follow me on Snapchat before the end of the night, if not the end of the week. Like, let's get you on Snapchat and start snapping. And as always, I know we're over time and it's way past your bedtime, but as always, when we leave the hashtag Wednesday Match Plays, you got to eat, sleep, golf.